they're a really good, defensive club now for sure. I mean, they got at every level, they got playmakers, they got good length. They're extremely fundamentally sound. They tackle well in space. You don't see many, you don't see very many bleeding yard. Like you don't see a 3-yard play get, turn into an 8-yard play, right? I mean, they get them sawed down and so again, fundamentally sound. They understand their scheme. They know where they're weak and what you're going to try to do. And are very well coached and prepared.
Is Bill McDonald probably the toughest assignment to tackle we've had so far?
I mean, we have played a lot of good pass rushers, and will in the future. He's definitely up there, so it's going to be a great challenge and excited for Duff and KT and all those guys up front to play their butts off.
What do you think the reason was for the lull in the second quarter on Saturday against Texas Tech?
It's not just one thing. Like I've said before, it's we knew they were going to come after us. We knew they were going to be an aggressive defense, and we're kind of going back and forth and couldn't pop a few things that we were trying to get done. And credit to them, they made some plays, and we knew we were going to have to score touchdowns in the red zone, and ultimately did down the stretch to make sure that we needed to. Got to do it in the first quarter. We know that, and but credit to our guys for hanging in there and fighting through a lull and then being able to settle back down. That's a real thing, whether it's a possession or turns into 3 possessions or whatever. Everybody we play is going to be good, and that's going to be fighting through those highs and lows is something you got to practice and get a feel for too.
And I think you're 5 or 6 games in now to being a play caller and offensive coordinator. Can you describe what areas you think you've learned the most through the 5 games here this year?
Yeah, I think it's it'd take a while. I think there's so many little things, and play calling is probably such a small percentage of that, quite honestly, because there's so many, when you're in that week of prep, decisions that need to be made, projections that need to be made as far as, okay, how are they going to play us out of this formation, because we're a little bit different than other people, and that's going to change those decisions that you make, and learning how to get ahead of the game and continuing to, make sure that we're in good positions and sound things to allow our players to play fast and do their thing. I think we're doing some really good things and some different things that we haven't done, really, for a long time, at least since I've been here. And I think trying to learn and how to handle that, right? I think, you look at that, those few drives at the end of the first quarter, we came out aggressive. We were trying to be aggressive, learning when to keep your foot on the gas and keep going for the jugular, right? And then when to, hey, let's just settle in and kind of weather the storm a little bit. That's a gut feel thing that, is all of us from a player standpoint, from a coach's standpoint, we're getting a feel for and becoming more of who we are, through these different experiences, positive and negative.
Why do you think you guys have had so much success, for the most part, on first drives in games this season?
I don't know. That's a good question. I think our players have made plays. They've been able to get on blocks and spring guys loose, and whether it's been Malik, Adrian, whatever, or whoever it's been, have really made good plays.
You talked about having to make projections. Is that also going to be associated with knowing that teams are going to try to take away Adrian's legs eventually?
Oh, that's absolutely, and it's, thankfully, again, it's not just him. There's other pieces to it. There's other facets to it, but it's being prepared for and having those answers ahead of time for, as best we think and project what they're going to do.
Why has the bubble screen to Phillip been a good play for you guys
again, it's all those attachments, are something that I think, again, we just got to continue to develop, because those are some of those answers, that, can alleviate stress on a run game depending on, what teams are doing. So I think just trying to get our guys, obviously, playmakers in space. Those are hard blocks out there, and when it's getting stretched horizontally and guys are pursuing the football fast and so every facet of that. I'll tell you what, the bubble throw is one of the harder throws to make, especially when you're a gun team, which, most people are when you're doing that stuff, is catching that football, depending on how it's spinning, where you catch it, and then ripping it out there, for 25 yards or whatever, 30 yards is all those elements are important to have a good attachment game.
You spoke a little earlier about how play calling is such a small part of what you do now as offensive coordinator. Can you explain what your role has become as you transition to the offensive coordinator on the recruiting side of things?
On the recruiting side of things, I think it's, as we become, and create a little bit more of of an identity is just making sure that, guys are the correct culture fit. They have the right mentality. They're going to be the right kind of guys in that locker room that, are going to care about one another, love football, love competing, love working hard, all of those things, and then, have the right skill sets to fit kind of what we're doing and what we're looking, what we're trying to do offensively. So that's definitely, obviously, more on my mind, than it has been in the past.
Iowa State runs the 3-3-5. You guys run the 3-3-5. Is there any kind of advantage for either side there?
We'll find out. I think, even though they're the same structure, they're playing it differently, and so I think picture-wise from our guys' standpoint of knowing who guys are and where they are and different things, I think it's obviously there's going to be familiarity on both sides. I think, but again, I really think this game will come down to who's going to be more fundamentally sound, and not make mistakes to hurt themselves, put them behind the sticks, turnovers, all those types of things that, because again, there is a high level of familiarity both ways.
Is the offensive staff still trying to strike that right balance for the workload for Deuce Vaughn and how much to use DJ Giddens?
I think it is, I think it's, our mindset again is trying to just get our best players in the best position as much as possible. Deuce has been very, very, very durable and, is wearing well. So I don't think we're trying to temper it too much right now, but it's something we'll have to monitor.
From your perspective, Collin, just how good has Adrian been the last 2 weeks?
He's been fantastic. But again, I think it's not all that surprising, quite honestly. I think, again, it's just the culmination of a lot of little things, getting on the same page and being more comfortable in the flow, at every level of it, and that's myself, that's, each position room, and then ultimately finishing it, on the field. But I thought, his preparation is fantastic. His mindset, I think his leadership is, he's stepped up and really, and obviously the play on the field, helps that. But he's taking a commanding leadership presence and role in the locker room, which is great.